Have you ever wondered how one of the most well-known international brands have been able to create premium blends that delight while remaining socially responsible and one in the community? Have you ever wondered whether the staff and citizens play a role throughout the development of their products? Watch and listen as we chat with Sylvester Henry, Senior Category Manager of Heinekens and Lucia Limited, on these and other topics. So let's get started.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to the 15th episode of PROOFPOINT, the podcast by Caribbean User Experience Q. I am your host, Suzette Merrill Alexander. And today we are here with Sylvester Henry, the Senior Category Manager of Heineken St. Lucia. And we will be discussing the subject of striking a balance through participative design. So, Sylvester, I know we had a little chat before, but can you tell us something about yourself and your profession?
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you for having me on your podcast. I feel special. It's really my first one doing a podcast. For me, I'm Sylvester Henry. I've been with Heineken and Lucia for the last 13 years, mainly in marketing. Um, we've evolved over the last 13 years, though. Like I was telling you now, previous discussion. And I was driven into marketing because I have a passion for it actually. And from my studies at school, I was always into business and the business subjects. I don't think I was ever scientifically inclined for the sciences. So it drove me to that. And before Heineken St. Lucia actually came out of Bryden's and Partners Limited, and there I was actually the Carib business manager, which was responsible for Carib Bear and the Carib Bear's portfolio out of Trinidad because we were distributing Carib Bear at the time. And from there, I moved to Heineken St. Lucia, which was before called Minute and Limited. And I could tell you it's been a wonderful journey over the last 13 years. Um, I remain very active apart from work because I think the marketing part and your being a little bit sociable and being a little bit extrovert kind of works hand in hand because in marketing you need to meet persons, you need
Mm,
to discuss things with your consumers, and it's really not in a silo. So marketers tend to be a little bit more extrovert and a little bit more outgoing and that sort of thing. So it's been a nice journey there for me. I think before that, before Bryden and Partners, I was actually at the Chamber of Commerce, which is the Central Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture. It was actually my first job coming out of South Louis, and in there I learned quickly event planning
mhm.
because I was the junior program officer, so it was a lot of planning for business persons. It's a little different, but a lot of event planning for business persons, meetings, conferences, regional conferences. So from there, it really built the passion into going into marketing. Because yes, marketing has a lot of consumer research, but you also need to plan events, whether it's a
Mhm.
product launch, whether it's a event for your consumers or you want to engage them. There's a lot of planning process behind marketing also.
Okay, so what exactly is involved in a senior category manager's role?
Um, it's a new role which came about for the company. I think for about 2 or 3 years now. Category managers. Before this, we were called brand managers. And when I joined the company, I joined as the Guinness brand manager, with Guinness being my main focus and portfolio. However, under Guinness, there were smaller brands like Red Stripe, which I was responsible for, Spoon of Ice, and that sort of given. And on the other side, we also had a brand manager for Heineken, and under his portfolio, he may have at the time be responsible for smaller brands like Climax, etc. But however, because you were the Heineken brand manager and or the Guinness brand manager, your main focus would have been on Guinness, and your other brands would have probably take a secondary step or secondary role,
Mhm.
because we tend to see it as what brand bring the most value for the company, whether it be by volume or by revenue. You tend to have the main focus on that. So we went from being brand managers into senior category managers. Category managers, sorry, why? Because we thought as a company at 2 years ago that we needed to take a category approach to our business and not view our business as only about brands but categories in that place. And I think that really pushed us in that sense when we merged with Double A Bottling Company. So 3 years ago, where we merged with them. So we went from being a beer business, producing mainly Heineken, Peter, Guinness, beers, shandies. We did produce a little bit of soft drink, which was Royal Club at the time, but it's very small. To acquiring Double A Bottling Company, which had now water, which had the Coke brand, the Sprite brand, and the Icy brand, which are major brands locally. And at the time, we figured we need to view our business as categories, and we viewed Heineken and Lucia playing in 6 categories. Categories are: 1, a beer category. We have a CSD, which is carbonated soft drinks category. We have an energy drinks category. We have a water category, and we have a malt category. So we see ourselves playing in categories. So the brand manager position evolved from being about that, but having your brand team or your marketing focus on categories. So it developed where we have now 4 category managers, and we focus not only about one brand, but over a category. So I am the senior category manager for beer, and under my portfolio falls light lager beer, which is Heineken, Peter, Desperado, and Amstel Bright. All those are what we call lager beers or pilsner beers, and I'm responsible for that. The other category manager is responsible for dark beers, which will fall under dark beers, which is Guinness, and now recently launched Guinness Smooth. He also has a cider, which is Strongbow, or we call it flavor alcoholic beverages. So they fall under these categories. We also have one responsible for soft drink brands. So all our soft drinks now has one focus. And so that allowed the marketing team to be focused not only on one brand, but I will give you energy and effort on the category. So you're now responsible for developing a category under your belt. I could tell you because before that, when we were brand managers, my main focus is on Guinness, because Guinness now was one of the biggest brands in my focus. It's by volume, it's by revenue. And the other brands would have taken a back. So, oh yes, I need to do something for this brand to ensure it remains viable and lucrative.
I certainly can understand the value in the categories because it makes it very targeted as far as understanding the needs of the specific categories of your citizenry who would go for those products. And it also makes it possible to create targeted research and analysis leading to optimal marketing plans. So as we're on that subject, let us go into what, of course, is my very special area of user experience design. And one of the wonderful things I like about Heineken is that you can give voice to the product development aspects. Where other companies may be providers of products, you are a producer of products. So you actually go through the life cycle of ideation, prototyping. Can you give a little understanding as to how that works with Heineken?
Yes, definitely. For Heineken, we've over the years and made it a mandate globally, but also globally, and filters down to every business that innovation is really a key pipeline to grow and a key pipeline for source of growth. And it has been mandated a percentage of our revenue or our volume should come from innovation. So this helps each operating company, as we call them, or we call them operating company within each market. This helps this operating company focus on innovation. And why? Because, like I said, you need to grow, and to grow, you need to look for new products. We are very consumer-centric. Though we are a big organization, we like to put the consumer first. So for the ideation session of what new product we need to come out, we also do market research. So there's a lot of market research being done, and we also look at trends. So it will be consumer-driven at one end, and primarily that. So as operating company, we look at our market and where we operate and say, okay, what is the consumer need that we need to address as a company? Is it our consumers are looking for new trending drinks? Are they looking for healthier options of drinks? Are they looking for more flavors in drinks? Are they looking for new experiences, new occasions to consume drinks? And you look at that as first. And after you do that, we look at what do we have in our portfolio of brands that can satisfy that need. And do we currently have something that could satisfy that need, or do we need to develop something new? And innovation doesn't also come with a new product, as in a new beer or a new flavor. It also comes in a new serving purpose. So maybe um, consumers that are asking for things on the go. So bottles is our main product, returnable glass bottle. Maybe they cannot, it's too bulky, or maybe they cannot carry it to the event. Maybe a can might work better, or maybe um, the packaging is too small. Maybe you need to give them, instead of 250 ml worth of beer, you need to give them a 500 ml or 750 ml worth of beer, or a liter that they could share among friends for an occasion. This is also an innovation. But
I want. Sorry. Okay. So as you on that, something just comes to mind. Can give me an example of what experiential activity you would undertake to determine what's best. What is desired and delighted by a customer? What would Heineken do in that discovery aspect of its product development process to find that out, to determine, yes, that bottle size is perfect now. That flavor is needed by our customers. What is the physical thing that is done? Do you do focus groups? Do you do interviews? Do you do taste tests? What exactly? Can you explain that to me?
yeah, I would love to. For us, we are research driven, so there's a lot of market research which we put into going to a product launch. I could tell you over the last few years, we've tried and tested. So for us, it's not only coming up with the idea. The idea goes through what we call our innovation funnel, and at each stage we check different variables or different aspects of the product. So it first comes with an idea, then it moves to another stage. Okay, this idea is viable because when we did this market research last year, we realized there's a gap and a consumer need. And then it moves to the other stage. Can we produce it? Can we make it? And even though we've produced it, we run focus groups to test whatever we decide, whether it be a new format size or a new product altogether. We do run a lot of focus groups where we test the product, we have them taste it, either versus, hopefully there's a competitor in the market that could use as a benchmark, or maybe not, or maybe a benchmark is the product itself, or different variations or different flavors of the product. So we'll have one which is sweeter, one which is not as sweet, one is a little bitter, different variations of that same liquid. We test with the consumer group, the feel, the look, the packaging, and with them we test that, and we also test the occasions or the pricing, whether that price will go. So there's a lot of market research we do before we actually go into product launch, to ensure that when we do it, it works in the market. I mean, sometimes you do all the market research and the focus group, which is hopefully a representation of your population, approves it, and when you launch, it still fails. But for us, we've been encouraged to take risk. No matter, let's try and fail, and then can we improve? And if you fail, you need to stop and say, okay, after a year and a half, it has failed, doesn't work, pull it out, and let's continue the journey somewhere else. So and I could tell you on an occasion base, we usually carry out market research every year that track what we call attitudes and usage, where persons consume alcohol, where they consume, the time of day, with a meal, etc. So we do that almost every year. And we also track our brand equity every year, how all our brands fare in the minds of our consumers. So those type of research give you an idea of how the brands are faring, and if there are opportunities to launch line extensions, new products, new variations of that.
Okay, excellent. Because I was just about to mention that you're very right. Because of personal preferences and everyday changes, you need to do continuous monitoring, a continuous research, iteration, to know what new needs have just evolved and materialized. And I know you can testify to that, because our needs change all the time. Maybe now I'll want something, the next minute I'll want something else.
Yeah, very much so. And I could tell you it's even more difficult with Gen Y and Z, because I think the advent of social media, their needs change radically and so quickly that you almost have to keep up to the time with them and keep making sure that you're on the trend and you're on the same thinking with them. and I think we've globally been doing a lot of research to figure out Gen Y and Z, what's trending with them, what are their purpose, what where do they see themselves, and it's quite surprising that some of them we think they're a little bit shallow, but a lot of them have deep meaning and purposes, and they search for brands which meet their meaning and purposes, or which meet their agendas, climate change, Black Lives Matters, those kind of things. Some of them are really deep rooted, and they search for brands who connect with them in that way. Although they may look shallow on the surface, when you dig deep with them, you see that, and their needs and their trends change almost yearly. So it's really, market research is really, and consumer research is really a key part of marketing, and it's hand in hand with how you approach anything you do.
Okay, so we're going into the next category, which is participative design, which is actually part and parcel of what you discussed. How much is the citizen involved in the various aspects of your product development cycle and evolution over time? Can you share anything about that? I know companies have some kind of trade secrets. You don't have to let out any, but a little something in that. Well, how are citizens involved? Yeah.
I could tell you now, innovation channel Participative Design runs from employees to consumers to customers at that level. So usually for an innovation, we have what we call a new product introduction committee, which involves employees across various departments. So we have procurement, we have finance, we have supply, we have marketing, sales, and we have the lead of that is the supply chain manager at one end and the commercial manager at one end. And we have those meetings on a regular basis. Currently we have it once a month now. Because of COVID times, things have really slowed down. But sometimes we go twice a month. So this is one part of Participative Design where employees are involved. It's really a committee led, and in these meetings we discuss the new product. So marketing is the one presenting it, because new product innovation comes from is a marketing standpoint. However, we have the full participation in every department. Supply will tell you, can we produce it? Can we produce it successfully? Finance will tell you how much it will cost to produce it, and can we make money off of it? Procurement will tell you, this is the lead time. So you need all those kind of things to decide whether the product could go to launch. Once we do that, then we involve employees in a sense of the wider employee. Maybe we decide to test with our employees first. The product, the liquid, the loop, and get some feedback. Maybe we tweak it before. And if the liquid is not one that is satisfactory, we tweak it, and then we now involve a marketing firm to test with consumers. And consumers are involved because they determine whether or not this product is good enough to launch. So they determine the taste, the packaging, the feel of it. And we take that feedback seriously before we even attempt to go to the next stage. So when we do this market research, we get the results, we discuss it in that MPI, and we decide, do we need to make changes? What kind of change do we need? Maybe the liquid is not good enough. We need to develop something else. We need to do something differently. Maybe the packaging or the artwork of the packaging, the look and feel doesn't feel that way. And then we do that. And afterwards, we invite our customers to sample it and try it out and get their feedback before we actually go to launch.
I can't remember ever being invited. That's something we'll have to talk about later. But how do you make contact with citizens? And I would like to expound that I love the fact that you have created the company has this committee, because user experience factors are not, when we speak of users, rightfully, as you said, it does comprise employees as the group of people who help distribute, disseminate, give voice to the possibility of the final product as well. Your citizens and your consumers. There are a fourth element that most people don't know or speak about, and that's your suppliers. So maybe where you get your raw materials from and so on. and even some of your partners are all part of the user ecosystem. So I really wanted, yes, definitely. So I really wanted to know, how do you make contact with those particular groups of people? Do you outsource or do you use your own database? I know for new product, because you're looking outwards. It is not a product that's in the market already, that you can actually seek feedback from your existing customer base. But if it's new, you're trying to get outside input. How do you connect with citizens to?
We go through, whenever we test to connect it, we go through a marketing agency. However, we give them a defined criteria.
Okay.
So we launching, say when we wanted to launch Guinness Move, which is probably a few months old. We will give them a brief. We will tell them we're looking for adult, male and female, between the age of 18 to 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably see an outgoing lifestyle. They usually they look more. So we'll give a proper brief to the marketing agency, and they will now define or get the citizenry, call them up and get persons within that definition of what we're looking for. I mean, anybody could consume a product. However, because you have a particular target market or target consumer, you want to get as much as those persons in your market research or in your pool to test your product with, and that is very important. There's also what you call a volume target for us. We think of target consumer. So a target consumer, for example, for a brand like Guinness, would be 18 to 34-year-old male, masculine, blue collar, construction worker, etc. However, your volume target for this may be a white collar person who works in an office, who figures Guinness for me is very refreshing, etc. But you do the test among your target consumer because it's the main group of persons who consume Guinness. So we do a brief to our marketing agency. They send us back a proposal. We ensure that we meet all the criteria, tick all the boxes there, and they go out and randomly select persons to be involved in the product testing.
That's exactly experiential and research, and I think that's fantastic. Even being observational research, because you could actually see on the facial expressions of people when they consume a product, whether they like it or not.
So we and actually you're right. So in some of those sessions, we as a category team attend. So there's what you call a qualitative field which is the expressions and the demeanor. So we'll probably sit down in a back room and observe the facial expressions or the attitudes towards it according to what we're testing, and then we'll sometimes do quantitative research to ensure that we verify and ensure that what we see and what they've seen is the same thing.
The same thing. Excellent. I like the fact that you go the path of persona profiling, which is excellent, because you have to actually have your target audience represent or in a very visual, maybe avatar kind of way, because that's exactly what it is. Your consumer, right, or prospective consumers. So let us go now and speak about that experience. What I love about Heinekens and Lucia is that you have a full-fledged profile. I mean, besides having the opportunity to produce wonderful brews, if I should say that, or I wouldn't say it right, just the various blends and be innovators and creators in the beverage industry. You also do your own launches, and you create that experience for the citizen. So I really want to know what goes into creating that perfect experience for a launch.
Yes, you're right, and I think we're one of the lucky organizations or companies who are able to do that. From going from having the idea, moving to the innovation, having the product available, and now to launch it. And we really most times try to launch it in a big way, because for us it's really about getting as many persons in the citizenry to attend the launch event. And so, for example, when we launched, when pre-COVID times, if we have to launch a product, we first would launch it in a manner. We launch with employees. So I don't know if most companies think that way, but for us as Heineken and Heineken globally, every launch we do for a new product is done with our employees first. So we do a lot of employee engagement before it actually goes out to the public. So whether it be launch event where we invite employees to a staff meeting, or just not even a staff meeting. Sometimes we create a launch event for that product. We invite everybody. Where we have two sites. So we have Castries where we have the commercial and the distribution center. We'll do one small launch event. We invite the sales team, everybody there. Then we go to the plant where we have personnel. We invite everybody there. We've gone so far as placing a 6-pack on everyone's desk of that new product. Of that, because the employee engagement is really critical. They are your ambassadors, and especially in a small market like Lucia, we have about 300 employees. They touch another 50 persons within their sphere, or their family, their friends. So they have to be a company ambassador for that particular product. So we launch with them, we engage them, we tell them about the product. They get first taste, cool ones. They give their feedback, etc., etc., etc. After that, then we do what we call a public launch. We probably do a press conference or a press launch, or invite the media and some of the influencers nowadays, etc. And we will definitely give a good account of what the product is, what we are doing with the product, why we are launching it, and give them an opportunity to sample and taste right there and then. And then afterwards we go into our public launch. We usually used to do huge public events, so we have the best DJs or the best band or the best artists. And these launch events were usually free at a venue where we hold about 3,000 to 5,000 persons or even more. And we do that. And at that event, do as much as possible, try to sample on entry, everybody coming in, a sample of that product. So they could try it. And during that event, we will definitely sell the product. We'll not go into too much detail, but we'll introduce the product in a big way. We will have you sample it on entrance, and we will also, if we sell it, we will sell it at a promotional price. So you could purchase it and consume it there if you like it, hopefully, and hopefully it's a good one. So there's this thinking ongoing. There's a lot of planning will go into it, because you could imagine you have to do staff engagement, you have to do press engagement, and then we do the public launch to everybody. And even after we do this grand public launch, we to our customers, and we give every customer a sample of that new product. So they in turn could taste it. We do what we call sales sheets, description of the product. It has a price, what the product is about, what the target consumer is for the product. And we have our customers try the product, because we want them to be able to, when a consumer walks in the bar, to be able to say, yes, I have this new Guinness Smooth. This tastes this way. And it tastes really, really smooth, and it's creamy, and it's a little sweet. It's not as bitter as the original Guinness. So you need your customers to also buying, because they have their customers, or our consumers coming into there. So we do a really 360 pump for.
I like that. I have witnessed one or two of these events, especially the DJ clashes. and I see what goes into the launches, especially when you attach it to an event that your target audience is into. That even makes it better. Yes.
And even you're right, the DJ competition Green Synergy, those events usually move around the island, and we have between 4,000 to 6,000 persons attending. And those persons are really your target audience, from 18 to about 28-year-olds, but you get the older persons. So if you could use these platforms to launch your product and sample, the key to launching a product is not only making the big fanfare, but it is really getting as many persons to sample it as possible, to taste it without even purchasing it first, because you want them to experience the product before going into a bar to purchase, because it's really about getting that taste of that product, and sampling is really key to launching any new product.
Okay. All right. I love that. Let us go into another area now. So we have a lot of budding manufacturers on the island. I mean, I'm discovering every day new businesses, small businesses coming up. And people are really using innovation, the imagination to creating and crafting products and services. And there are newcomers who are into beverages as well. What can you share as challenges that Heineken has experienced, that they can share as lessons learned that persons who wish to enter that industry should pay attention to? What can you share?
I think I was discussing one of the major challenges into launching new products is scale. Because our market is probably what, 180, 185,000 persons. It's
Mm-hmm.
difficult to launch a product and gain scale unless it's a really successful product. And especially in within the beer segment is really difficult. If you create a niche within our market, what's a niche? In a country where you have a few million people, a niche is a lot of volume, a lot of product being sold. But a niche within said niche is really a small amount of product. So that
Small.
yeah, and that is a major challenge for launching anything new. Is really how do you get skill within a small context and a small island like St. Lucia? This is a major challenge. The other challenge is ensuring that you meet a specific consumer need, and it may not be. I think it's really defining what that need is at the time of for that. So this is a challenge. So it's a lot of market research has to go into determining that, because maybe a need might be right there in front of you. Maybe you need to dig a little deeper to find out what the consumer need is, because sometimes consumers, or when you do market research, consumers will come forward and say, in the next week, I would like to drink a healthier option of a beer with less calories and less alcohol. Oh, you need to now go into that and figure out, okay, maybe they're saying, oh, last year I used to eat this and that. Now I've cut out meat. Now I've now tried to go to the gym more often. I'm now putting in my daily routine. I go early morning to walk. This is an indication that though they are moving to a healthier lifestyle, and you need now to develop some product that will meet this healthier lifestyle. Whether it be a less calorie beer, Heineken's Zero, which is now just launched sometime last year, which is a no alcohol, non-alcoholic beverage to meet them at that particular time. You know,
Mhm.
it's already thinking.
Yes,
So the minor consumer need is a big challenge for us right now, and probably gaining scale with what you launch, because we are a small market.
correct, correct. Because I was about to ask you, how hard is it to be socially responsible? Because you understand, because you are into the what civil society will consider maybe a no for certain categories of persons. Um, People who are health conscious, people, or they have because of their own perceptions and beliefs, may not feel that, okay, how can an alcohol beverage company display social responsibility? So maybe share with me how you are doing that. How do you feel as a responsible entity you can do that? And think also too in line with your Brewing a Better World, the vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Uh,
yes, the sustainable development goal direction. Yeah, talk about that with
well,
me.
what I could probably do is touch on Bring a Better World, and enjoying responsibility and responsible consumption really falls under Bring a Better World. And it's really a big banner that is used globally and in every operating company around the world. So Bring a Better World is really a long-term approach for creating a shared sustainable value for our business, for us, and also for our stakeholders. And that program was launched way back in 2010. Now, not because it was launched in 2010, that means we're not doing that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we saw it fit to really create this big umbrella heading. And underneath this umbrella, we have a lot of pillars that falls under Brewing a Better World. So, for example, some of the pillars that falls under Brewing a Better World is really protecting our water resources, reducing CO2 emissions, sourcing sustainably our raw materials, advocating responsible for consumption, which we'll touch on, growing with communities, promoting health and safety, and also passion for quality, which is for our consumers, our customers, our employees, our shareholders. So the Brewing a Better World is really a big umbrella underneath this. And the big part of it too is also what we call enjoy Heineken, or enjoying our products responsibly. So it's under that. And over the last few years, we've launched a lot of programs under the Heineken brand, which is called Enjoy Heineken Responsibly, and When You Drink, Never Drive initiatives, which really speaks to responsible consumption. For example, I would say when we do our major events, whether it be Green Synergy, whether it be um, um, Pit of Soca Stars, whether it was any major event that we host, we always ensure that we have a component of enjoying our product responsibility within that framework of the event. So an example of how we made that come to life is, for example, in Green Synergy, whenever we do a Green Synergy, we know it's about 6 to 4 hours long event. We take water breaks where we stop serving alcohol at our bars for 15 minutes, and we give everybody at the event a free bottle of water.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes.
And during that event, we also have our MC or our announcers, whoever is hosting the event for us at the time, to keep pounding in person's head that you need to enjoy responsibility, you need to arrive home safely, you do not consume too much, we do not serve alcohol to minors. So we usually give a nice bit talking points where we keep saying it at every opportunity we get throughout the event. When the event is done, we offer everybody a bottle of water to go home to ensure that you hydrate and you refresh. So this is one very big way that we've made this come alive, by doing it that way at our event. The other way is that definitely in all our communication, we always end with enjoy responsibly. We always put it on all our posters, all our billboards, all our radio ads. We always say enjoy responsibility, and we say what enjoying responsibly is. You do not consume too much. It's very difficult in a society like ours where the laws are not stringent, especially in Caribbean, not even in St. Lucia. We know Caribbean, the drinking and driving sometimes are not stringent. Unlike in America, when 2 a.m. come, you need to stop serving alcohol because serve alcohol until the place is open, the event is going on. We recently now launched billboards where we put, I could show you an example, a big, it's like a driving wheel with a big cross and Heineken in the middle, and when you drive, don't drink. And it's a very good statement to do, as a brand, to put big X on your bottle and saying, when you drive, never drink. Yeah, and your brand. This is how serious we take it. And there's a particular, in Brewing a Better World, Heineken as a global company, we've gone as far as creating ads, particularly showing enjoying responsibly, where we show, in some of the adverts, persons coming into a bar, and when being offered a Heineken, they say no and they shoot a bottle of water, or they say no. And now we have Heineken 0.0, which is non-alcoholic. We put some of that in there where persons don't consume, and they say, okay, I'm driving. Tonight I'm going to drink Heineken 0.0. I'm not going to do that. So we actually do that in our advertising, specifically for those brands, and specifically for those. So there's ads really showing enjoying Heineken responsibly, and also when you drive, never drink, and showing persons who drive not consuming alcohol, consuming water within a party setting. So it's really some bold statements there, and now we do it. So it's really us. For us, it's about, yes, we do sell alcohol, and Heineken is really I like to say our blood flows green, but you need to be sustainable in a way with your consumers and really be responsible. We rather consumers be alive until they're 65, 80, 100 years old and enjoying our products for their lifetime than doing it irresponsibly and dying at an early age because of consuming our products. It's really about being a sustainable with our consumers, our partners, our employees, and really being that way and strong about it.
We're coming to the end. So my last question to you, what has been the greatest win for Heineken? I guess you will decide how you'll answer that, Heineken St. Lucia or this global Heineken, but because I know you share globally the win. So what has been the greatest win?
I think The Heineken brand, I think globally is now growing as a global brand. I think locally for us as a Heineken company, I think the merger with the Douglas Bottling Company and moving it into two companies to one, Heineken and Lucia, has been a wonderful win where we could take in the Solving. And I think it's two very great legacies where Douglas Bottling Company is almost 50 years old. We are in our almost 40 years old. So the merger of those two companies of a
Yes.
big legacy is really a good win for us locally. And building on that legacy in under the Heineken umbrella really says a good win. I think another great win for global is really launching Heineken 00 as a non-alcoholic beverage. Yes, I could tell you, I'm not because I work for the company. It tastes really good, and not that many non-alcoholic beers that taste really good. So Heineken 00 is the number one non-alcoholic beer in the world currently for the last 2 years.
Mm.
Because it took about 15 almost a good bit of years to develop, and because it has a Heineken brand name, a lot of emphasis, a lot of research, a lot of brewing and trials and failures go into it. And it's really a great success to see that for a company like ours, we advocate responsible consumption. Now we have a non-alcoholic beer that we try to place everywhere and try to say, okay, this is the same emphasis as Heineken. You want to be responsible, you have the opportunity to have a non-alcoholic beverage.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, and I think for us it's really growing with society. Another win for us is being really under Brewing a Better World, being really sociable, responsible within St. Lucia, and being able to give back in major ways within our community. We've done major water projects which cost us the tune of almost 200,000 EC dollars, where we were able to install a water tank for a community in Viewfort that did not have a major water tank and had serious supply issues of water. So this is really giving back. We give back into a lot of smaller non-profit organizations where we support them and grow with them. So I think it's really been able to grow with our market, grow with Solution as a company, and not grow also by selling brands, but grow with them socially in a socially responsible way, and trying to be um, really sustainable, not only by by non the non-alcoholic enjoying responsibly, but also by preaching the bread, brewing a better world, CO2 emissions, being able to try to recycle. We recently launched a recycling program for most of our plastic bottles. There's a major issue we think in the market where you
Mhm.
see all those plastic bottles are everywhere because sometimes persons just throw the trash indiscriminately. Now we put a value on plastic bottles that persons can return
Yes.
those plastic bottles and get value and get money towards again something. So this is a lot of wins that we've been able to do over the last few years locally and also globally.
I would say so. So you're becoming more social, a community organization in a nutshell. Yes. Um, so, Sylvester, it's been wonderful to have you here. I must say this has been an insightful conversation. What would you like to leave with our audience? What's your parting words?
I'd like to say thank you first off to you for having me on board. It's been really a pleasure, and I hope you invite me some other time. I think what I would like to say is that I hope persons look at Heineken Solution as a really a model, not only in being socially responsible, but also in the way we market and the way we sell our products. For us, there's a lot of planning and a lot of work behind the brands. We look at brand equity as a major thing. So if you are into business or you into any distribution, brand equity is a major role. For us, we say we sell brands. And why we say we sell brands? Because brand equity is really important. Brand equity will look at you in the future because it is building a sustainable brand, not only for
Mhm.
now, but for future sales. And whatever your brand stands for in the mind of a consumer, it's what your brand will be. And the perception of your brand in the mind of consumer, you need to. So if you think your brand is premium and in the mind of a consumer it's not, then it's not a premium brand because in the mind of the person, the end user, your brand is just an economy brand, another brand. So you need to behave the way your brand wants to stand for. So, and marketing involves a lot of market research and a lot of planning behind the brand. So I've had the opportunity to work here for 14 years, and I tell you, my job is pure marketing and pure brand building. and brand building help you build sustainable brands for the future. And this is how you get a sustainable company, because with that your brands grow, you sell, you grow. If you have a problem, you stop, you tweak it, you fix it, and it really involves marketing. So marketing is really key in everything we do.
Lovely end, Sylvester. Thank you for giving us your time. I think we've had a wonderful conversation.
Thank you for
So,
having
and to our audience, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. And we look forward to another opportunity. I'll hold you to that.
me. No problem.